The next morning, we head for Modica, another of the fine Baroque towns built by the Spanish. But there is also a sweet side to their legacy here, which can be savored in the town's pride and joy. Chocolate. Modica is home to the oldest chocolate makers in the island, the Bonaiuto. They still make chocolate here to the original 16th century recipe, brought by the Spanish from the Aztecs in the New World.
Buongiorno. C'è il signor Pierpaolo? Grazie.
Is it just this part of Italy where they make this chocolate?
That's the only Pierpaolo. Piacere, Giorgio.
Pierpaolo.
Andrew.
Piacere, nice to meet you. Welcome. Come in the kitchen with me.
Ah, fantastic. Come, straight in the kitchen. We dive in.
Pierpaolo's family has been making chocolate here for 6 generations. Just few ingredients: cocoa, sugar, a little flavoring. It's a world away from the chocolate that we are used to in Britain.
What we are looking for is to make chocolate with the smallest label that you can find.
Did you hear that? They want less ingredients as possible. This is it. Less, you know, when you go and buy a bar of chocolate, you want to read the ingredients. Less ingredients you got, and better it is.
What's this?
This is the sound of my childhood.
Is that the sound of the Aztec drums?
You see, the chocolate has changed. It becomes much more translucent. All the bits of oxygen and air that was left inside is gone. And, you know, you're going to have a bar that is even. So when you're going to packet it, because, you know, that's what it is. But this
It's kind of, I'm still getting over it. It's
is
amazing.
part of, you know, the food is not only a recipe, it's also a matter of rhythm.
It looks much more gritty. I'm looking at the texture. I mean, I think of chocolate as something that's smooth, liquid.
That's a particularity of the chocolate of Modica.
Yes, strange texture, because the sugar never melts during the process. Taste it.
Oh, it's like sort of chocolate grit.
You will feel a strange texture in your mouth.
Completely strange texture. So my question would be is if somebody came to Sicily in the 17th century and had a bar of chocolate, would it be like this?
It was very similar. Here, chocolate was a food, so it was not so important to have a beautiful chocolate, but something that could give you energy during the day.
It's difficult today to think that chocolate was ever a staple food. But Pierpaolo's creations have certainly given me all the energy I need for today. I think we just might be skipping dinner.
We decide to spend the rest of the Easter in Modica. Like everyone else, we are in town for the Easter Sunday procession, a famous ritual called the Vasa Vasa. Religion has long been a binding agent in Sicily, especially in a deeply unequal society created by the Spanish. And you can still feel that rallying power today.
We still have some time, so I'm taking Giorgio to see the town's finest cathedral. It's dedicated to his namesake, San Giorgio. And to me, its curvy facade is much more than just grand architecture.
So that's a church. What do you think?
Looks like a cake, doesn't it? Not like a church.
Ah, that's it. You think it looks like a cake?
It does,
See, I
completely,
don't-
like a wedding cake.
Oh, I can see that. But I also think, what's amazing about this church is, you know, like the Baroque style, for me, has the ability to be incredibly sensual, almost to turn a building into a human body.
Yeah.
And I think the key to this church is that inscription there, Mater Ecclesia.
La Madre Chiesa.
The Mother Church. And for me, you see a cake. I didn't see that. I see the Madonna opening out her cloak, and down there, enfolding the town. There's an old Renaissance iconography where you have the Madonna and she opens her cloak, and inside the cloak are all the people. And that's what, for me, this church is. It's like the mother's going to look after you.
It's going to be a good day. Let's go.
On the way to the town square, I spot a stall selling a fruit called cedro that I'm sure Andrew won't have tasted before.
So I eat the whole thing, Giorgio. It's like a lemon, but
You have to eat everything and try to balance as much you eat of the inside with the skin. The skin is very important. This is what is used to make all those candy.
È buono?
sì. È come un limone, ma non è come un limone.
No, non è.
È la famiglia del
È
limone.
famiglia del limone, però è un innesto particolare che poi dà questo.
Where,
I've seen these in paintings, old
That's
paintings.
right, yeah.
I always thought it was just like a big lemon.
yeah, and you know, where is it in the world that you're going to be able to eat something that you never eat before?
I always enjoyed going to Easter procession with my parents when I was a child. But Vasa Vasa is something special. A statue of the Madonna in mourning is paraded through the town in search of her son, Jesus. It's a moving piece of street theatre that everybody can be part of.
So this is the Madonna kind of, where are you, Jesus, where are you?
Yeah, where are you? And the music is really like she's sad.
But it's Easter Sunday, so she will find him, and
You can see a little bit of the colors, and when she's going to meet him, you know, the black will come off, and she'll be dressed in azzurro. And this is Jesus now.
But of
Jesus
course, because she's come that way, it's like they're missing each other, right?
missing each other. They're going
They're
around
looking for
each
each other.
But you see, it's much more. They're wearing red. There's no sad. There's music because he's already
He's
a
triumphant.
resort.
It's noon, and finally, it's the time for the climax of the procession. You can sense what a special event it is for the people gathered here.
They all wear the best, their Sunday best. Their children are all dressed up. It's a rebirth. And, you know, they're going to think we're going to have a nice lunch, which is, you know.
For the first time in a long time.
That's exactly. Some people will have meat for the first time in 6 weeks. Look, Andrew, Christ is coming.
The Madonna's on her way.
I'm glad we've managed to secure a coveted spot on this balcony. It means we'll be able to get a clear sight of the moment when the Madonna finally discovers the Christ and kisses him. This is why the procession is called Vasa Vasa. It means kiss.
The whole thing is so physical, isn't it, Giorgio?
It
I
is.
mean, it's a physical celebration.
Right.
I mean, even the statues move. Here they go. So this is the moment of the Vasa Vasa.
It's one of the most moving ceremonies I've ever experienced. Joyful, unashamedly heartfelt.
See, for me, this is a performance version of what we were thinking when we were up at that church. That the church is the Madonna that enfolds the people, and all the people feel together within the Madonna's embrace. And then it's like we've seen it. That's what we've seen. They're all there. It's as if they're being embraced by this moment, you know.
Everybody feel part of it,
And
togetherness.
and you could feel that when they clapped.
They do.
I mean, when they all clapped, it was just beautiful. It was nothing kind of, oh, we've got to clap now. It was,
It was natural.
yeah. I'm really glad we came here.
We've been invited to continue the celebration with the local family, the Vannuccios. Like most families all over the island, they still celebrate Easter with the traditional Sicilian lunch. When we arrive, the men of the family are busy making ricotta in one of the outhouses. It's a cheese with its roots in the humble peasant food of Sicily.
The rich people have the milk, filter it, and then you have the cheese, and once you salt it, and then you make pecorino with that.
Okay.
The poor people were left with the siero, which is
Which is what's left from the making
what's
of the
left from
cheese.
making of the
Okay.
cheese. Every time you eat ricotta, you want to cry thinking about this one.
Oh, thanks, George. So you're giving me the best ricotta I ever tasted, and you're simultaneously going to ruin ricotta for me.
Yeah, but what would you find is that this ricotta is going to have a really animal taste. I remember when my kids tasted the first time, they said, "Ah, it tastes like an animal."
It's like the texture of blancmange almost.
Yes.
And really salty.
Really salty.
And it tastes like the smell of the barn a bit.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean that in a good way.
Next door, some of the women are busy making bread, and they seem slightly reluctant to accept any help from us. It's pretty clear that there's a strict division of roles going on here.
Usually it was the shepherd who would make ricotta and bring it into town to sell. So that was a man job, because the women weren't shepherds. So that stays as a man job. But to be in the kitchen, that's not a man job. You seen a man in here? Only me and you. And they're gonna think that we are a bit funny, that we are just cooking with them. And you see,
they think we're funny.
They didn't give us a piece.
Al lavoro.
Ah, okay, look, kind of turn it, and, you know, and push with your arms, and keep on turning back, sort of thing, you know? So you work like that, and you come back with this.
She's laughing at me.
Yeah, she is.
She's definitely laughing at me.
E poi lo giro.
E poi così.
E poi lo giro uno sopra l'altro.
No, no.
No, aiuto!
Così.
Ah, ecco.
Un po' di... No,
Come on, Mr. Far Chef. Say what's wrong with the words.
Ora così.
Easter lunch has always been a deeply symbolic meal in Sicily. Made from simple recipes handed down through the generations. Lamb is at the center of the feast to signify the sacrifice of Christ, and there is an array of different pies stuffed with the meat. Like this impanata, you will only find it in this part of Sicily. There are also dove Easter cakes stuffed with eggs which symbolize peace.
I see at the top of the table.
Yeah, why not?
Whoa! Che onore!
Sharing Easter with the Vannuccio is clear to see that for Sicilians, family and faith are still at the heart of what's important.
Spending time together over a table is a sign of great achievement in life.
It's like the table's like this huge, great altar.
Yeah.
The family gathers around it.
That's right.
Back in Modica, I've arranged to do a little informal house hunting. But I'm not looking for a holiday home. I just want to take a sneak peek inside one of the town's many Baroque palazzos up for sale. I know of an English estate agent, Ramsay Gilderdale, who specialises in selling these buildings, and I've asked him to let us visit one of the finest on his books.
So this is a palazzo that was built in the middle of the 1800s and then had quite a lot of work done to it in the 1970s, including this staircase, which was completely remodeled. And it's divided into two apartments, one of which, as you can see, is pretty 1970s, and the other one remains as it was in the 19th century.
Very 1970s. Even the computers looks like 1970s.
And here we go.
This would have been painted probably 1850 to 1900. The naked woman flying across the ceiling. And think of what else is happening in Europe. You've got, you know, the year of revolutions, 1848, 1850, the Great Exhibition, the Industrial Revolution. The world engulfed in change. And here, no.
Shh, close the shutter and stay inside.
Peasants can keep working the land, they can keep sipping their tea in here. looking up at these sort of strange Baroque, luxurious fantasies. Have you noticed here, look, there's even a sort of remnant of that old Catholic superstition, like we saw at Enna.
That's right, like the sword going through her heart.
But there's no sense of participation in this space. It's as if they keep the past under glass, preserve it forever. But it is slightly spooky. You feel like the ghosts of the people who lived here have only just left. I'm not sure I'm going to be putting in an offer.
While the rich felt safe in their Baroque palazzos, it was a very different story on their estates in the Sicilian countryside. In the 18th century, although the Spanish Empire was in decline, the feudal system they encouraged in Sicily was as strong as ever.
Heavily taxed by the overlords and desperately poor, some Sicilians took the law in their own hands. They became bandits, stealing from the store of rich barons to feed themselves. The 45 farmhouse where we spent the night near Ispica was just the kind of place those bandits would have ransacked.
Buongiorno. Salve.
Salve.
Franco, sono Andrea. Andrew.
Piacere, Giorgio.
Camera numero 1. Grazie.
Numero 1.
Andiamo di qua.
Sì.
Kitchen.
Oh, that's my...
That's your bit. I'm going to go and make sure I get the best room.
As Giorgio prepared dinner, I started to explore the phenomenon of the bandito, the bandit. What's fascinating is that many believe the mafia, that most Sicilian of crime networks, has its roots in the island's centuries-old bandit culture.
At the beginning, they were basically people who were just resisting the advance of settled agriculture. They were nomads.
Yeah.
But then gradually, as the Spanish system, you know, the feudal system took hold with all these barons living in different places, the bandito, the bandit, became a different kind of figure, kind of Robin Hood figure. And there's a good phrase in here. He said, this is one way in which the notion gained acceptance in Sicily, that to cheat and to steal successfully made one worthy of respect and admiration, like a man of honor, perhaps even a fighter for Sicilian independence. But then it became more complicated, because the barons, the people who lived in houses like this, they got wise to it, and they thought, well, hang on, instead of fighting the banditti, let's use them, let's pay them. So then what happens is that the banditti will actually work for Baron A or Baron B and keep the poor in subjection.
Right. So from being a mean of getting justice, they become a mean of oppression.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm making my own version of bandit food for dinner. It's called mako. Just dry fava beans, boiled to a pulp, and seasoned with wild herbs.
I can imagine the bandits just having a pocket full of fava beans, you know, when they were, you know, on the run. It was important to have something that would sustain it. And I think this is a recipe that really is perfect for that. It really describes that type of food. Okay, here you are. Look.
So this is the mako.
This is the mako. And this one, I put a little bit of these onions on top to give you a bit of an extra flavor. And then a little bit of the chili chicory.
Chili chicory, fantastic. Wow, that's straight from the field.
If you think about it, and every time we sit on our table, you know, we're getting things that come from, maybe in one place there is things that come from like 10 different countries. Here you are, 10 square meters, you could find all these ingredients. Here they are in front of you.
So we're eating the Sicilian terrain.
We're eating the land.
No. There you go. Oh, no, come on, they wouldn't have put a garnish on with it.
It's not garnish, you're going to eat it. Garnish is what you
I mean, all right, yeah.
like that.
I'm going to plunge in and take a good bandit-sized mouthful. You
wouldn't think that just some some dry fava beans will come to
Oh, it's
taste like that. Is it too spicy for you?
That's perfect. I don't think it wants to be too spicy, do you?